Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream Park on this steamy but beautiful day here in South Florida, Hallandale Beach. We see the beautiful skyline of Hallandale, and we've got a fast track, and the Tapeta's always fast. I'm Samantha Perry here to guide you through some winners here today. Get the weekend kickoff in a big way. We've got 8 races on the card and a really nice pick 6 carryover of over $200,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. It starts in race 3 today with the 8 race card. Big pools here in this gross jackpot guarantee. It's just going to continue to grow in a nice sequence to get the Friday afternoon kicked off here in South Florida. Now, race number 1, it begins the early pick 5, and I've got ticket duties for that today. We'll go ahead and take a look at it with a couple of 2-year-old races in the mix I'm excited for. Race 3, we'll get to this in just a moment, but the 3 for me is my top pick. That's far above, but the 8 will be very heavily bet. Race 2, an aforementioned 2-year-old race with a couple of with one scratch in the race, but the body of my picks stayed together. Number 5, Unfinished Affairs for me on top. Race number 3, this does kick off the Rainbow 6. The 2, Big Band Louisiana, it's my top selection. Race 4, this is my best bet of the day. Fumble Rooski for the Joe Orsino barn. And in race number 5, just going 3 deep, the 6 for me on top, Castena. Gonna hope for a better effort this time around with the blinkers off on this 5-year-old. $27 is the play for me. And kicking off the opener, it's a maiden $25,000 event. Now, it's a mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. We are scratching the 1 in this spot, 4-2 nada. And the 3 for me far above is where I went on top here. This is just a filly that she's been running in the $16,000 level, and she's been holding her own just fine. And I don't really see it as a bad thing that she's moving to the $25,000 level, because quite frankly, it's kind of just the same type of horses that you see filtering back through these races when they come up. Now, the 3rd and 2nd place finish, she just is slowly kind of knocking at the door, getting better in her form here. Arnold Dauber doesn't run a lot of horses at all, and maybe this isn't a barn you wouldn't just jump the gun on playing right away, but he did have a win last week, and I do think that this is a filly that deserves some respect in this spot. And the 8, of course, going to be a heavy favorite. It's early in the money right now, but was dancing around the 8-5 and 2-1 right now. That's Starship Gizmo for Steve Dwoskin. And I've got a stat on Steve because he does a lot of very good work, and this was a pretty flattering start for him. Now, this is just the past year at Gulfstream Park, the 2nd-time starters when they're running for the maiden claiming level, 2 for 5. That's a solid statistic. 40% win percentage, and we're not going to get an $11.20 ROI here, but these are horses that kind of slip through the cracks just a little bit. I think with this barn here, this one certainly will not today, but I do think that Starship Gizmo is drawn perfect in this spot, and she is the filly to beat, but you're not going to get a very good price while doing so. The 5 here, Unified's Princess. She's going to try 2 turns for the first time, and she's going to try the Tapeta for the first time. Now, physically, I think she can handle the 2 turns, but sometimes that can always kind of confuse a horse right away, and she has done the mile distance before, but that's the 1-turn mile that we have here at Gulfstream Park. We'll see how she takes the Tapeta today, being a daughter of Unified, but I think she deserves some respect. In the 4, Nalita, this is a first-time starter for Ruben Sierra. You know, this is a horse that is a new shooter here. Jose Morelos sees fit to ride and just might be a little bit interesting. Ruben Sierra doing some great work here for the Just for Fun stable in race number 1. Race 2, this is a maiden special weight event. It's going 6 furlongs on the fast main track here. Now, it is for 2-year-olds, and it's an exciting time of year as we're really starting to see these 2-year-olds just kind of break through. The 1, Roar Ready, does come out of this race here, and I'm kicking it off with a first-time starter here. Now, this is for the Jose Garofalo barn. This isn't a barn that jumps out at you as being one that has one ready and cranked up for the first time, but I love the works on the page for this horse. You see just these 1-minute bullet drills over the fast main track here. Really nice breeze from the gate a few back. Now, this is a half-brother to La Runa, who has won 2 races here on the Gulfstream Park Dirt Course Sprinting. most recently back on 7/16, so just last weekend. I think that this colt's got some precocity in him. Collected just 6 for 64 with first-time starters, but that doesn't bother me too much. It's an early sampling size. His foals are just kind of starting to really come into themselves, and Lionel Reyes rides, which I think is a very, very good indication here. Sound of the Beast, this horse now is kind of unlucky with the draw. With the one coming out, Rohan Crichton, this is a colt that his dam Sound Defense won at the 6 furlong distance. Now that was on her third try, so this is the first foal from this mare here, but some solid works indicate that this horse is ready to go. But again, the one post position, that's always just, it's such a tough task for these first-time starters, the one and the far outside, because horses tend to break towards daylight whenever they just are standing in the gate for so long, because when you are in the one post, you're standing in the gate longer than everybody else, and that just kind of makes me a bit hesitant. Now, two of these horses, or two of them, yes, in this race are coming out of the same race, and I want to show this replay. Now, it's Ladam Bro and Don't Be So Grouchy. Now, Ladam Bro is there on the rail. Don't Be So Grouchy, just taking a ton of dirt. You can just see the blinkers covered in dirt. Now, this was a sloppy seal track this day. Now, Ladam Bro, 23-1, and this horse just played in the slop like absolutely nothing. Now, on the far outside, we see Don't Be So Grouchy, the 8 horse. It's kind of just lugging in just a touch here, but a first-time starter, that makes a lot of sense. And Ladam Bro was just so game. Now, he was ultimately defeated by the Ralph Nix Trading North Shore Drive, but I almost wonder if this is a horse that just really took to the slop. Now, sometimes horses just cover the ground so much easier on a track like that, and although he was overlooked at 23-1, I would just be a little hesitant to take him at a short price here today, just due to the track conditions that he did race against. Now, I don't see any rain, but that could always change between now and 118. But I think that this is a horse that maybe just wait on, and he could win. He could have gotten his confidence up and be just fine. But I do think that sometimes horses just really take to the sloppy going, and this is a horse that I think did that. Now, unequivocally, this horse took a lot of money on debut. That's the 3 horse Antonio Sano trained. Didn't run that well at all, but coming out of the race where Lasso won, and Lasso was just so impressive for the Arundel connections, has had a couple of works since the debut. We'll see if that can kind of improve him just a little bit, but the 5 for me, Unfinished Affairs, and we'll be out here to take a look at the horses physically and see if the horse is fit enough to kick off the early pick 4. Now, with the 8 race card, Rainbow 6 starts in race number 3. We are going to take a very short break, and when we come back, it'll be Rainbow 6 time.
And they're off.
My Racehorse has opened up a door for people that felt like that door would have never been opened for them.
We can all be owners and we can all get that excitement.
You can meet your horse through the different experiences and all of the events that My Racehorse puts together. You get that hands-on connection.
Whether you have $50 or $500, everyone that joins My Racehorse gets that experience of a lifetime.
I love My Racehorse. Let's go.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Samantha Perry here, guiding you through this 8 race card on this beautiful Friday afternoon. The track is fast. The PIA is always fast. And with an 8 race card today, the Rainbow 6 kicks off in race number 3, $200,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. I've got Rainbow 6 ticket duties here. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. We'll get to this race in just a moment, but the 2 Big Band Louisiana is my top pick. Race 4, this is my best bet of the day. This is Fumble Rooski, currently, or on the morning line at 4-1. That's a very fair price for this second-time starter 2-year-old. overrolled. Race 5, the 6 for me. This is Castena, and I'm spreading just a little bit more. Castena didn't run the greatest race last time, but I think the blinkers off should help. Race 6, this was the race that I felt like I needed to spread the most in. The 4 for me teasing on top, but I think the 7 vibing will be very tough as well. It's a very solid 6.5 furlong maiden special weight event on the dirt with 3 Jose D'Angelo trainees. That's the reason for the spread here. Don't want to miss them. Race number 7, just too deep for me. The 8 on top, though, that is Sandpiper Memories and my long shot play of the day, and Battle Cry looking to stay unblemished on the Tapeta surface here. And in race number 8, the finale on this 8 race card here today, the 5 for me on top. That's Ready, Seek, Go. We've got a very solid replay to show you of that for Belmont winning stakes trainer Jenna Antonucci. $54 is the play for me here in this Rainbow 6 ticket. And race number 3, it's 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta track. It's a claiming $20,000 level for fillies, 3-year-olds, or fillies and mares 4 and up, which have never won 3 races. The 2 for me, Big Band Louisiana, is who I'm going with on top. And this is a mare that she's seen a lot of places, and she's ran in a lot of different tracks. She's only been here at Gulfstream Park in her last 2 outs, and before that, we didn't see her since Woodbine, and that was in late November, so she had a bit of a break here. She's now in her 3rd start of the form cycle, and that's usually a time when these older mares just really liven up, and she ran incredible last out, just beaten by a neck with Lionel Reyes in the saddle, and I think that this is a horse that she just needed those 2 starts. And I like what Dave Fox did here, because instead of waiting on her to get a 5.5 furlong race after the little bit of a break she had, he ran her 2 turns, and that just kind of got her a little bit tighter, and I think that prepared her even more for the 5.5 furlongs that she ran last time. This 5.5 today, this is a solid spot for her. Yeah, she'll have to work out a trip being on the inside. It's not always ideal, but it's a 6-horse field. We do take out the 3 Mama Strong in this spot here, and I just think that Big Band Louisiana is going to be a mare that will be pretty tough to beat today. Now, the 1 Sonicus, this is an interesting filly from the Safi Joseph barn, and we've got a stat here to show you on Safi that I thought was important for this race. Now, this is a horse moving from the dirt to the Tapeta. Safi Joseph is only 1 for 10 with moves like this. Now, 40% in the money. This is just over the last 2 years here at Gulfstream Park, and obviously a move he doesn't do a lot, being 1 for 10, but Safi has incredible statistics with just about everything that he does, and this is just one that, 1, he doesn't do a lot, and 2, you don't see him connect with right away. I think this horse will be very heavily bet just due to Edgar Zayas landing here and it being a Safi Joseph horse, but remember, we're going 5.5 furlongs. Drew the rail. This is a horse that's got some speed, and she might have to use it quite early, and Big Band Louisiana is going to go as well, and I just think that this is a favorite that you should maybe stay away with, and that's not to say she cannot win, because she could, but the statistics are right there as far as Safi Joseph moving these horses from the dirt to Tapeta in these claiming races. This horse is taking a pretty significant drop in class as well. Now, the 4 horse here, Nike Can, pardon me, Jose D'Angelo trains. Now, we saw this horse run last week, so short rest, coming back, but Jose D'Angelo, he's not really known for doing moves like this, so I think it's a good sign that this mare is in good form right now, and when these horses are ready, you've got to run them. When it's kind of a lower to mid-level claiming race like this, I don't mind a horse running for just a few days or a little over a week type of a layoff here. It's just an indication of a good and healthy horse, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. Right to the outside, Ideal Breeze. This is a horse that is also making the switch from the dirt to the Tapeta. Misael Jaramillo takes the irons. This horse showed some speed on the slop last time, and I think that's a good sign that this horse still wants to be in the game. But to me, she's just a mare that kind of runs the same type of race each time, and she hasn't been on the Tapeta in quite some time, and that was at Presque Isle, so we'll see how she'll take to it here at Gulfstream Park, as this is her first start on the Tapeta here. Race number 4, this is a maiden $25,000 event. It is the start of the late pick 5 with these 8 race cards. We've just got all of these horizontals backed up back to back. And late pick 5 for me here, it's a $36 play, and I'm ripping off the Band-Aid early with Fumble Rooski, my best bet of the day here. It's going to be a very solid race for this second-time starter. Race 5, the 6 for me on top, Castena, like I had mentioned a bit earlier. It's kind of a bit of a run back of the Rainbow 6. I just dropped a couple in race number 6, and if you want to do that in the Rainbow 6, you certainly can as well. It's teasing on top for me, but I just don't think you can leave out Vibing. That's the 7. In race number 7, my long shot, that is the 8, Sandpiper Memories, and the 1, Battle Cry, undefeated right now on the Tapeta track. And in race 8, the finale, it's a good one as well. Ready, Seek, Go for me for Jenna Antonucci. $36 a play for the play here. And in race number 5, this is, or pardon me, yes, sorry. And race number 4, pardon me, we've got 2 scratches. The 2 Ernesta and 5 Lucky Lynch come out of the race, and it didn't really affect the field that much. Now, this was a 9-race field before that. 5.5 furlongs is the distance. The 4, Fumble Rooski. This is a filly that debuted in the Royal Palm Juvenile Stakes race for Joe Orsino here. Now, the winner of that race, Crimson Advocate, went on to Royal Ascot. That was a qualifying race for a Royal Ascot meeting, and she came back and won that. And this is a race that I feel like has been very fruitful in the horses that have come back to it, and I'm hoping Fumble Rooski will show the same. Now, you look at her running line, and it was just far behind the whole time. And I just want to show why, because they were going 5 furlongs on the turf course here. This filly completely missed the break. Now, we'll see her. She's the 4, so watch for the 4 here. The whole field is gone, and there she goes, just way behind the 8 ball here. Crimson Advocate, the winner there, was just off and gone. And on this turf course here, and really at many turf courses, just going these 5 furlong distances, when you break like she did, you don't really have any type of prayer to make up any ground. That was her first start. At least she got an experience out of it. DJ Stable, they're not afraid to run a horse, and if they think that she's worth $25,000, then she is. And that's why DJ Sable has just had so much success with their runners, is because they put them in spots that they can win. They're not getting greedy with this filly. Now, Lamb's Map actually is quite productive with dirt sprints, striking at a 17% rate. I think that this is a nice move for this filly here, and what I like is she's breezed consistently over the dirt track here. Excited to see how she handles it. The 6 horse I Love Venezuela, this is a horse, watch the tote board on this horse here for the connections. Now, Lionel Reyes lands here, so this horse is bound to take some money. And this is a filly that Neolithic, again, a younger sire, but 6 for 30 with 2-year-old first-time starters. This is the second foal from a dam who won long on the grass, so expecting to kind of see her a little bit bigger bodied. Maybe the 5.5 furlongs is a bit too short, but we'll see them out in the paddock. This is the start of the early pick 5, so we'll be able to kind of narrow it down. But I think Fumble Rooski, I'm confident in this horse here today and the connections to get it done. And the 1 Savannah Lady, this horse is coming out of a race where Tear Duck ran. Now, Cozy Colby ran second in that race, kind of tracked him down. And Cozy Colby ran last weekend at Saratoga and was just a so-so type of runner. And I kind of kept that race in my mind with circling back to Savannah Lady. And I think this horse can get a piece in race number 5. Pardon me, race 4. Race 5, mile and 70 yards. It starts the late pick 4 on this Friday card. It's on the Tapeta track. It's a claiming $8,000 event here, and no scratches or changes in this field. And the 6 Castena, this is a mare that I have trouble kind of getting a good running line on her. She's 5 years old. She's 2 for 20, so pretty lightly raced and just hasn't really connected many times. Now, the blinkers come off of her, though, which I think is quite significant. She hasn't had them off since August of last year, and she's switched around barns a few times. In her last effort with Kent Sweezy, she just was kind of even. I wouldn't even say she trailed because it was a pretty compact field. There was only 5 of them, and she did run last, but they all kind of finished similarly together. this is just a mare that I think that sometimes on these Tapeta races, if you kind of think a little bit outside of the box and try to go with somebody that you know the form is there, but they just haven't shown it yet, Miguel Vasquez stays aboard, which I think is a good sign that maybe just last time it just was a bit of a dud, and she does switch barns now, but Kent Sweezy, he's a bit more spread thin in the summertime. He does have some horses at Monmouth as well, where he actually keeps most of them during the summertime. I think this horse just deserves another chance, and after this time, I think I'm going to toss in the towel with her if she doesn't really fire. The 5, Take the Podium. Lionel Reyes rides. He rode this horse last time for Jose Pinchin, and she's had a little bit of time off since then, and that doesn't worry me too much. But the thing is when they're $8,000 claimers, these races come up almost every 2 weeks, and if she went to the bench after that, I almost wonder if there's kind of something else going on. She's just 4 years old, and she's 2 for 9, which is pretty solid for a lightly raced filly here. I think she's eligible to win the race, and I think she's probably the best filly in the race, but again, where have you been lately for me? And that just worries me just a little bit. The 3, Bella Mura, won for Barry Croft last time in a very impressive fashion. It's hard to pair back-to-back wins just in general and on the Tapeta as well. I think she deserves some respect in this spot because she is coming off of a win. She has her confidence up right now, which is always a good sign. We'll just see if she can see it through. Sometimes it can be a bit tough when you've already won a race, but she wheels right back in a similar spot, a little over a month layoff. Barry Croft spots them very well. We'll see how it works out in race number 5. Now, race number 6. Late pick 3 time here. It's a maiden special weight. It's 6.5 furlongs on the fast main track. Now, there are 3 Jose D'Angelo runners in this race, which when you're playing horizontal, sometimes if a trainer has 2 in a race, I don't like to leave one off, and that was the reason I spread in these pick 5 and pick 6 tickets. Now, this is a race where something funky could happen. Now, I've got the 4 teasing on top. Now, this is a filly that she's been away for a bit, and she has worked very solidly in the interim. Jose D'Angelo now has her. When you go back to her race at Keeneland last year, put a line through it because that was on the grass. She didn't take to it at all. Now, she has run on the dirt twice here. She didn't have any speed on the turf, but then she went to the bench. So if you go back to her races that she ran here, she did have speed. She did show interest quite a bit. We'll see how she is off the bench, and I think that it's a good sign that Jose D'Angelo puts her in right for maiden special weight ranks. It's a good sign that she's doing well and that they don't want to run her for a tag. You can't take her. I think she's got a lot of talent, although she hasn't been bet in any of her starts. That was last year, and she's a different filly now. She's now 4 years old, and some of these are 3-year-olds that she's facing. So we'll see how that shapes out. Now, the 7, Vibing, for me, I think this is an interesting filly because she's coming out of a race where she ran a pretty flat 4th place finish, but the 2nd and the 3rd place finishers came back to win their race after that. And the 2nd place finisher, Laban, won with a 72 buyer. Now, that would desecrate this field here today in this maiden special weight event. So I think that Vibing has some talent. We just haven't seen it all yet. And this is a trainer that he's very patient with his horses. He takes his time. And I think that a little bit of time now in between that race on May 21st to now, she's got her feet under herself, and she'll be sharper this time around. Now, the 1, Uncaptured Dove, I've got a race replay to show you here. And Uncaptured Dove didn't take a whole lot of money for Todd Pletcher first time out. Now, we see her here. She didn't make much of an impact at the beginning stages of the race, and this was going 6 furlongs. But look how wide she was on the turn there. She lost a lot of ground. She switched into her right lead, and she still dug in. Now, she's not any type of world beater here, but I like the fact that she's got a race under her belt. Now she draws the 1 hole. Lionel Reyes stays aboard here. The race she's coming out of, the winner, Sadie Bear, came back last weekend and ran in a very, very tough race, and she held her own, and she ran a 69 buyer, running 3rd in that aforementioned. It was a very, very deep field for Sadie Bear. So I think Uncaptured Dove is what she is, and she's not going to be winning stake races probably, but for a race like this, she fits. She might get overbet though, so just kind of keep note of that. Race number 7. final double of the evening, 1.70 miles, and this is a good race too. I would say this is our feature race of the day, and Battle Cry is back and undefeated on the Tapeta track. I've got a replay to show you because this was just a very impressive race from Battle Cry here, but we've got Pacific Princess in here as well. These two really duked it out. And if you look at the motions of the rider of the 6 Battle Cry, you see how he tries to intimidate the 2 Pacific Princess. And Pacific Princess still hangs tough. And this is race riding. And Edwin Gonzalez did a very good job with just kind of intimidating that inside horse and says, no, I'm not going to let you have it, and just puts them both away. I like the way Pacific Princess still just tried her best to run on, even though when you've got a horse like that swooping down on you after the turn, sometimes horses can just throw in the towel right away. She hung on. These horses are going to be well respected in this spot. And the 1 Battle Cry, this is just a mare that since she hit the Tapeta, she's just really flourished. 2 for 2. The rail post might be a problem. Edwin Gonzalez, though, he rides incredibly. He knows this Tapeta well, and I think that he could put it back together. But my long shot of the day is coming out of this race. Now, Sandpiper Memories, the 8 horse here, was claimed last time back in mid-June for $10,000 for the Bob Hess barn. Now, Bob Hess, he's got a lot of horses in California right now, and he's geared up for Del Mar that starts today. And he claimed this horse, which you don't see him claiming a lot of horses during this Royal Palm meet, but this race that this filly's coming out of was a very strong one. Dancing with Daffodils was just so impressive that day. Ruby says ran back quite well. Now, she set the speed that day, and she was kind of forced onto the rail a bit. I love the outside draw for her today. She's won 2 races on the Tapeta and 2 second-place finishes. Just had a 7 start, so she likes the Tapeta. Taking a shot here, Battle Cry will just have to be on not her best day and not up to battle, and I think that Sandpiper Memories can maybe just kind of fill out things and pick up the slack if Battle Cry is not on her A game. The finale for this Friday afternoon, 1.16 miles. It's a claiming $12,500 level to the $10,000 level. This is for 3-year-olds or 4 and up, which have never won 3 races or which have never won a race since January 21st here. And we're going to kick it off with a replay here. Ready, Seek, Go. This is a gelding that's coming from the Jenna Antonucci barn. You see him there. Now, Droll Maddox coming out of this race as well, so I think it's important to note him. Now, Ready, Seek, Go was very heavily bet in this spot at 9-5, and here looked like a winner. Now, Guchko Bra had other plans. This horse just gamed it down, and Guchko Bra, he's only won 3 races, but he's been facing a lot stronger competition. So if Ready, Seek, Go can fend off or try his best to fend off a horse like Guchko Bra, who would be a very heavy favorite in this spot, Ready, Seek, Go is a deserving favorite here. Work that Jen Antonucci does with these horses that she did leave over the summertime, as she does have her Archangelo, the Belmont Stakes winner up at Saratoga. I think that it's good to see that this horse is just in good form, bringing the horse right back in the same level, and will be very, very tough to beat here today. Now, the 2 Timmy M, I've kind of been burned by this horse because this horse has a lot of back class. He's made over $300,000. Now, the Hertex claimed this horse last out, which was an interesting claim, and this horse did not fire at all last race and was pretty heavily bet as well. In those last 2 starts he was, and I'll admit I was one of those people that did play this horse in his last 2 starts, but I think this is a horse that under new connections, not to say that Fernando Abreu did anything wrong with this horse, because he did get this horse in great form, but I just think that sometimes just a change of scenery can help a horse, and Timmy M, I'm willing to go to bat for him one more time, but it's it after this. And the 1 Grand Soiree, don't ignore this horse here for Edwin Gonzalez, because he does land here, and before he did ride Ready, Seek, Go. Now, Jose Morelos, who rides Ready, Seek, Go, has ridden a lot of horses for Jen Antonucci, so read into that what you will. But coming off of 2 wins, Grand Soiree is in his last 2 starts here today in the finale. That That wraps up our 8-race card we've got for you today. $200,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six, but don't go away. We've got our lightning round, and as we start off the week, every week we'll look into the standings and how things are shaping out as we're just in the thick of the Royal Palm meet. Now, leading jockeys, Lionel Reyes, he has taken flight here against this field, and the podium is looking pretty close as well. Edgar Perez, he's really jumping up there. Edwin Gonzalez as well is doing great work. Miguel Vasquez, this is a rider that he's been on fire as of late, but they're all just chasing the heels of Lionel Reyes. Now, as far as leading trainers go, Safi Joseph has taken the lead in this spot, and it'll be interesting to see how this kind of shapes out through the rest of the summer with Saratoga and now Del Mar starting. Rohan Crichton, 16 wins, and he's got 2 horses at Del Mar here today, so wish him the best of luck. Jose D'Angelo, this guy is everywhere all the time, 38 wins. He'll be right on the heels of Safi Joseph, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that kind of switcheroo in the late stages of the Royal Palm meet. Now, as far as a best bet goes for me today, it's Fumblerooski kicking off the late pick 5 in race number 4 for DJ Stables and Joe Orsino. My long shot of the day is Sandpiper Memories in race number 7, 10-1 on the line, and that's very fair. We'll see if this horse can shake out a better trip under new connections. And tomorrow, we've got a very solid card for you in a feature race of the Azalea there. Now, Flakes is back. She's headlining this field. We see her here winning the game face. She is the 7 horse. She was intimidated by Charlie's Wish. You see Charlie's Wish just take it right to her, and she said no way and kept going. She buries those ears back and just runs so hard each time. Excited to see her back for Brian Cohen and Arundel Racing. She's just such a cool filly to watch, and excited to see her in the Azalea tomorrow. Charlie's Wish is back as well, who ran second to her, so we'll see if she can maybe turn the tables, but the Flakes for me is going to be the horse that I'm going to take my money to in our feature race tomorrow. That wraps up Gulfstream today. I will be with you, as well as Claudia Spadaro, throughout the day, guiding you through some winners. But first, I'm going to send it on up to Pete Aiello. He'll give you the track conditions and the changes on the card. Good luck.